Steve, you're a new dad. Very fresh, in fact, isn't it? Because how old is your son?
Just over 4 months. Just ticked over now. Yep.
Yes. And so let's go back to before he was born, and just tell me a little bit about the pregnancy and leading up to the birth. What was some of your thoughts and feelings then?
Pretty excited, actually. We'd sort of planned this for a while. So
okay. Yep.
For years it had been on our agenda to start a family.
Yep.
We had a few other things that we wanted to get out of the way first.
Right.
So it was time was ready, and we were ready, and took probably about 4 or 5 months of trying.
Right.
Before we managed to actually get pregnant.
Yep.
With our little one. I think the second month we had they call it a chemical pregnancy.
Right.
So the egg was fertilised, but it didn't stick in the womb.
Okay.
And that was pretty interesting because we got all excited because we had the pregnancy test. It came up as a positive. And then 3 days later it flushed out. So that was actually, for Nitnoy, or for my wife, my partner, it was it's pretty hard, and for me too, just seeing her go through that. I wouldn't say depression, but just that feeling of, was it my fault and all that sort of stuff. Supporting her through that was a pretty important time, I think.
So that probably rocked her around a little bit too.
It did, mate. And but we just stayed strong, stayed positive, and thought, okay, we'll keep trying. And then 2 months after that, we got pregnant. Excellent. And it stuck, and we're up and running. So so that was good. And
your wife, Nitnoy, she's from
Thailand.
From Thailand. So culturally, how did she cope with that sort of
with that part of it, and also getting pregnant, I think it's a bit hard with her family not being here.
Yep.
Her family are in Thailand, but we talk to them all the time on FaceTime or Skype or whatever. There's 3 or 4 different software they use, but so we're in constant contact with them, and my family have really just taken her under their wing, and she's like a daughter to my parents as well. So we've got a pretty good support network.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So once you knew that she was pregnant and this was taking, and you knew it was game on now, what were your thoughts and feelings leading up to, during that 9 months now of?
Just excited, just really happy that that we're at this point in our life that we were planning to do anyway.
Yep.
And we're up and running, and we're actually pretty keen to find out sooner rather than later what the sex of the child was.
Right.
And also we heard about this blood test that they can do to tell you the sex of the child, and they also test for some chromosomal abnormalities and stuff like that. So they can do that at the 10-week mark into the pregnancy.
Yep.
So we signed up for that, and we did that. So we found out quite early that we were having a boy.
Oh, good.
And that the things that they tested for in terms of abnormalities he was negative on all of those.
Right.
So that was sort of good for us. I mean, some people might not want to do that, but we were really keen to find out, and I think that helped us just to prepare ourselves a little bit better for what was coming.
It was sort of more like a peace of mind as well.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Yep.
Although knowing he was a boy didn't help at all in terms of choosing a name. He still, even when he was born, he was nameless, I think, for the first week. So
that's always the case with a lot of picking names. Is hard, isn't it?
It's hard, and I think that works back to that cultural thing that we're talking about, where we wanted to respect her culture, having something from Thailand into the name, but also having a Western name, and how do you come up with something that meets both criteria? So it was a bit tough, but we worked through that.
That's good.
Yeah.
So now you're in the hospital, and she's in labour.
Yeah.
How was that for you? Describe that.
It was a pretty stressful situation for Nitnoy. Her labour from the early stages until the birth was 52 hours.
Right. Okay.
So it went over the space of 3 days essentially. I finished work on the Friday. That night we went to bed. Halfway through the night she woke up with the labour pains, and so that was Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon the hospital said, yeah, come and we'll check her. They gave her some Panadine Fort and sent her home, said she wasn't ready. So Saturday night again, she was just in constant pain through the whole lot. And then Sunday came around, and mid-afternoon they said, yep, come back in again. Even at the assessment centre, she wasn't ready to be admitted to the birthing suite yet. So we spent another 5 or 6 hours being assessed, and she had some morphine then, which knocked her out, but she needed it because the pain was so great. And then finally got admitted into the hospital, and we went up to the birthing suite, and she was a bit dehydrated from the morphine, so they gave her a saline drip. And they tried to break her water to bring the birth on, because she'd been in labour for 40 hours at that point or something. That didn't help, didn't move it along at all. And in fact, I think the contractions calmed down a bit after that, which was sort of the opposite of what you'd expect. So then they gave us some hormones. I think it's oxytocin.
Right.
So they've put that into her, as well as more saline, because she was dehydrated and stuff and vomiting, and it was just terrible. And then, but she, through all of that, I was thinking to myself, what can I do to help? How can I, I just felt a little bit useless in a way, because there was nothing I could do. I mean, I was there by her side, which is exactly what she wanted, but physically I couldn't do anything. Even touching her, she would be like, just let me deal with it. I'm internalizing, I'm good. Which if that's, and that's the way she dealt with it, and I had to respect that.
Sure. And does that, did you feel quite helpless? And
a little bit, yeah. I mean, I just knew that just being by her side would make her feel as good as I could. So I just tried to stay positive and smile, and just keep asking her if there's anything I can do, but not too often.
Just in case.
And then I think she had some gas when she was in there as well. And then in the end, ended up having to have a epidural for the pain.
Yeah.
And the doctors said, look, it got to the point where there was so much stress on her body and on the baby, they said, look, we're going to have to do a cesarean in the end. So in the end, she said, look, that's fine. I understand that. And we did go to birthing classes before all of that, and they sort of explained that this is a possibility, this is what you might have to be ready for. They talked about all the different pain medications, and we were thinking, it's like, I'm just going to go natural, I might use a little bit of gas, she'll be fine. In the end, we had one of everything.
Which pretty much it covered all the food groups.
Covered everything. But she needed it, and she was in a lot of pain, and the doctors were really surprised that essentially her cervix didn't open up enough to allow the baby to come through. His head was too big, and they said, look, that's why we need to do the cesarean. So once we knew that was happening, we were ready for it, and we just went through the motions there.
And did you go into the cesarean as well?
Yeah, I did. They prepped both of us up, and got her ready to go into the theatre, and they asked me to wait outside for a few minutes, but they said, we'll bring you in shortly. And they were actually fantastic. They were so good, just the way that they talked, the care that they showed us, and how they helped us to stay calm and be happy. And they even said to the point where, get ready to take some photos, your baby's just about to come out or whatever. So I got the video camera, or not the video on the phone out, popped it up, everything caught. He's a great little boy. He's come out screaming, head held high, hands going right like this, and Nick, because she had the epidural, didn't feel a thing, so she's smiling too, and I'm smiling because she's smiling, and it's like fantastic.
Perfect photos.
It was great.
Excellent.
Happy day.
So let's talk about getting home with
little Leo.
How was that for you? Did you have much time off?
I did. I took 3 weeks off work.
Yep.
Which started pretty much the day that the contraction started, which was great. Nidnoy was in hospital for the first 5 nights anyway, so pretty much a week of that she was in hospital.
Yep.
Recovering from the cesarean, and also I think her milk didn't come on straight away, so they had to. Leo lost a little bit extra weight.
Right.
So they had to get him back on Yeah, look, we were sort of ready. We had a car seat in the car ready to go.
Good.
We had his little travel outfit picked out for him, and
That's good.
it's so cute. And yeah, but I think driving home, I think I've never driven that slow in my life. You just sort of don't want anything to happen. I'm not too slow that you're going to get in the way of other people, but just very cautious, very careful. It's just he's a beautiful little boy. He's just doing his stuff, and he was happy sitting in the back in his car seat.
Excellent. And then so was there anything that sort of struck you when you got home that you went, I wasn't prepared for that, or I didn't think that was going to happen, or was there anything like that when you got home?
Well, yeah, probably around the breastfeeding. Nitnoy, probably it took a bit of time for Leo to latch on properly, and there was a few issues around that, and we felt like maybe we could have been a little bit better prepared. I don't know how, but if we had have known a little bit more about how to breastfeed and what some of the issues were. I mean, the hospital did offer lactation consultants and that type of thing. So, but we had a maternal health nurse that came around and visited, and so gave us a few tips and stuff. So once he started feeding properly, we were good. But that was probably the thing where we weren't quite sure, what to do and how to manage that. And
with the birthing classes, did that give you enough preparation for what was to come?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, there was 3 classes. Can't remember exactly what was in each, but they covered a range of things over the 3 classes. All the different pain medications that were available, which was good. Even things like how to swaddle a baby, which was we found that really useful.
Right.
Because when they're young, they can wake themselves up if their hands aren't sort of tucked in by the side, and you want to make sure you're doing it so they're not too tight as well. So learning how to swaddle, that was pretty good. Sorry, one more thing I thought was really good at the classes was you got into groups and they gave you an exercise where for the first 24 hours. It might have been 48 hours, first 1 or 2 days when you get home. They gave you a list of things that you had to put in certain time frames. So when would you go to the shop? You having a visitor, when would you invite them around? You've got to have a shower. You've got to do this. So they give you a list of all these things that you're most likely going to be doing when you get home, but you wouldn't think of it at the top of your head, like, oh crikeys, how do I schedule myself to get all this stuff done? So that was really good, just to make you think about the fact that actually, it's good to have a bit of a plan, a bit of a timetable of when things might happen, and be a bit flexible around that.
And look at the bigger picture.
Because people want to come and visit. You're going to have to eat. You're going to have to shop. You're going to have to shower. You've got to do all that stuff. So,
and did that help? Do you think when you got home?
I think so. Yeah, it made us. I mean, we probably didn't need to do all the things that they gave us on the list, but it was good that we were thinking about them. So,
that's good. Yeah. And what about? Did you do any kind of investigating yourself and sort of researching yourself for what a father's
No, I didn't. But a lot of my friends have had kids already.
Right.
I've got a couple of nephews and nieces.
Yeah.
And, I've always loved being around kids and stuff like that. So I think I felt like it was just going to come naturally.
Got it.
Yeah.
And did it?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, from day one. Actually, it's funny because when I've caught up with friends who have had kids, and they're like, here, hold my son or hold my daughter. I've always felt uncomfortable holding someone else's kid, like just because I might drop them or, not that I would, but you know what I mean? It's just that I'm not quite sure what to do. But as soon as Leo came on the scene, I just didn't want to stop hugging him and holding him. And and he was just, I think it was just an instant natural thing.
That's good.
Yeah. So very, very happy about being a dad and feel good about it.
And do you think that sort of isolation, if you like, of Nitnoy having no family, do you think that sort of made you and her more close, if you like, as parents, because you're kind of in it together?
Definitely,
rather than having a lot of other people around to influence you.
Yep. We talked about it too. Like we did say, even my mum lives out of town from from Melbourne, and
Right.
my dad and my stepmom are around, and you know, when we see them, it's great. But most of the time, it's just my wife and I.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, and we talked about the pros and cons, and we thought, oh, you know, when you do, one of her best friends lives almost next door to her mum, so her mum's there 24/7 looking after the kid.
Yeah.
It's almost when you're by yourself, you have to stand on your own 2 feet. You have to go through the motions
Got
of
it.
learning what to do. So we felt like it was a benefit for us, because we were becoming, I guess, more independent and responsible a lot quicker than we might have otherwise been.
Yeah, true. And it's probably...
But we missed out on, you know, maybe having some support, which would have been nice as well. So there's pros and cons.
Yeah, that's a good point. Was there any cultural kind of situations that you thought was unique to, you know...
To her being Thai?
Yeah.
One or two little things. Leo was born with a lot of hair, but it wasn't everywhere, so she wanted to even it up a bit. So apparently in Thai they have this powder that they get from a flower that they grind it up, make it into a paste, and it's purple.
Right.
And they rub it on the kid's head, and it's supposed to induce hair growth.
Really? Did it work?
Well, she was looking for the flower, she couldn't find it.
Oh, okay.
And but I kept on thinking, my God, I'm going to be walking around with a kid with purple head. People don't think I'm crazy.
Like a rock star.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, look, you know, we couldn't find it, so we didn't do it in the end. But look, I was happy to give it a go. I was more than happy, and you know, and it would have had a bit of a laugh at him as well. And,
for sure.
You know, I'm already jealous of him. He's got more hair than me, and he's only 4 months old. But
let's do our final questions.
Yeah.
So the first one is, what's your go-to bribe?
My go-to bribe for Leo, he's only 4 months old at this stage, but just lots of smiles and cuddles.
Nice.
If he looks like he's about to cry over something, I don't focus on that. I just give him a big smile, big cuddle, and you know, and just say, "Hey, little buddy, how you going, mate?" And it usually distracts him, and he
That's
stops.
good.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Discipline, you or your partner?
Definitely my partner.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Although I back her up on anything she says. We do talk about stuff beforehand, and yeah, when we set boundaries, she'll be the one that'll force it, but I'll back her up on it.
Got it.
Yep.
Excellent. And DIY or call a tradie?
Call a tradie.
Yeah.
Oh look, I don't mind to do a bit of DIY, but I just find tradies do it so much better. So you know, get them in.
Yeah. Fair enough. And what's your dream car?
I reckon any type of Maserati would be lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we had the money for it.
Yeah.
And what's your favourite driving song?
Oh, I think, look, I've had a bunch over the years, but my favourite at the moment is Royals by Lord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good little cruisy little tune.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I like that. It was good to hear all of your thoughts on being a fresh dad, as I'd probably like to call it. So thanks heaps for that.
Pleasure, absolutely.
Everywhere I go, I feel so alive. Yeah, I'm happy head to toe. I'm in overdrive. It's alright. Clear those clouds away. I can feel the sun.
I hope you enjoyed that episode, and there's many more to come. All our guests will be over here, that's why the spot's empty. So please subscribe, and don't forget to make a comment to let me know what you think of the episodes and anything we can change. So until then, see you later.
'Cause these are the best days.